Super quiet. No one wants to talk. To the top right hand side, our Blue Zerg player from Team Liquid. Give it up, guys. If you're cheering on, Snute. Some of you guys have been waiting all day to see some Snute games, and we have tried and tried and tried, but we just have never managed to catch him when he's been out of series and ready to go into the next one. We've been very busy watching this guy in the top left. We've watched pretty much every game of his bar one, I think. The Red Terran player from Dead Pixels is Clem. And honestly, after Namshar, I really don't think Clem's really been too phased or anything. I don't think he's had much of a challenge at all. So, yeah, Clem has really been just monster moding his way through every single one of these games so far today. It's been kind of impressive to watch, honestly. He's looked very good while moving on through the games, so yeah, good for Clem. He's been doing this very nicely up until now, as we kick off into game number 1 of this best of 5. Yeah, I think it happens a lot in the Sunday streams, guys, actually. A lot of the time when we stream at this sort of time on Sundays, a lot of people are just chilled out, kind of not really in chat so much. We actually, every Sunday, kind of have much quieter chat, I feel. The weekend streams are a little bit more chill than the weekday streams. Let's see, he comes over. Going to see the natural hatchery on the way up. Reaper is on the way from Clem as well. Eleni is just going to leave an SCV to watch out on this third base. Nice little patrol circle on this SCV here. What if it ever gets dizzy? I wonder if they have it built into their little systems to not get dizzy so they don't fall over when patrolling in circles. I mean, they must get kind of sick of running backwards and forwards already gathering minerals, right? It's not a fun life being an SCV. You know, it's not a very glorified job, is it? You have to run backwards and forwards, like, you know, carrying heavy minerals. And then sometimes you get attacked. Sometimes you get sent into the enemy's base. Sometimes you get sacrificed to keep army. It's like, what is the good part of being an SCV? Literally nothing. Yeah, at least as a drone you have the chance to maybe morph in towards something awesome like a hatchery. I don't even know. I don't even know. Alright, going to be seeing the Lings taking some damage here so far, as you're going to see. Actually, 4 kills. Not bad. All 4 Zerglings taken down already. That's really nice micro by Clem. Maybe a little bit of bad micro by Snute to kind of combo together there. Shouldn't really be losing all 4 of the Lings. 1 or 2 sure, but 4? That's kind of crazy. A few more Lings on the way up. What's up, Taco Stuff? Cheering 20, saying Snute a hype. Thank you very much for the 20 bits. Prediction, Snute 3-1, says Bogey B. Time to get rowdy in the chat, says Beatsa12345. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Get rowdy. Tell me about your day. Tell me about your weekend. Tell me who you're cheering for. Talk to me. Arrow Blackbox is cheering on Clem. Oh, let's know who you're cheering for here, guys. We do see these Hellions are, well, actually trying to defend. A couple SCVs going down. Another couple Lings about to arrive as one Ling in the main is going to pull those Hellions out of position. Snoot's going to... Ooh, he doesn't actually grab the mule, but he will get another SCV. No target fire. A little bit of lost potential there, perhaps, but still Clem just left and right trying to deal with this. A little bit sloppy there by Clem. Again, 100 euros on the line in this matchup. The first GO4SC2 Clem has played in over a year, and he's in the finals against one of the monsters of GO4SC2s. Snute has really been absolutely on top of his GO4SC2 performances in 2017. One of the highest, most consistent victors of the GO4SC2s. Monthly finals is dominated by him and Nurture since 2016 or so. What a map to start on as well, by the way. Battle on the Boardwalk. We talk about Snute liking to play a late game, and Clem, he tends to like to go into the later stages of the game as well. Battle on the Boardwalk is a map that will split in half. It will be split in 2. It will be difficult to attack and engage, and it can go to 30, 40 minutes perhaps, as the entire map will mine out. So that possibility is there if these players really do come to a standoff against each other. One thing that Snute might be able to do to kind of stop that happening early is the potential of something like big roach attacks. And actually this roach run, as it finishes, there's going to be a bunch of roaches on the way already. And just 42 workers, that's 10, and that's a lot more than just looking to defend some Hellions. Probably looking to make some Lings behind this here. That's Snute. Well, he's just going to set up aggressively. I was thinking, you know, maybe a layer roach speed, maybe +1 roach time, but it's going to be much more aggressive than that. Queens will get this Liberator after 4 drone kills. Snoot's not going to replace those, though. It's all about the lings, the roaches, and those roaches are now coming out. And they're going to start running across this map. He's going to find one, well, one roach is going to be found here by the Hellions. And Snoot's trying to hide the rest of the roaches a little bit. He's going to bring them around the top side. That lone roach is, again, pushing those Hellions back. Now a siege tank on the way, but is it in time here from Clem? His wall off is all the way down here. That doesn't really help him too much. This wall over here obviously gets broken through very quickly, so these engineering bays and depots aren't really going to do anything at all. This puts us into a very interesting position. Well, a lot of Lings going to come through the south side. The Lings are spotted there as well. So they're just going to come through the top 2. I mean, the Hellions are still out of position in terms of coming back and helping to defend, which, when these Lings are coming across the map as well, can definitely go a long way. Stim is about to finish up. There's no medevac yet, though. The tank comes out. It's going to take a long route around to be able to get in position to do something. And Snute with this Ling Roach attack, well, he's already droning behind this. How many SCVs can he kill? He's killed a couple of depots so far. It's not really too much. Snute's not going to find as much damage as I thought he might. 2 depots is really not much at all. His Hellions do get cleaned up at least, so they're not going to find themselves any damage, and Snute just going to pull back in the end, continuing to drone from here. Good defense by Clem. Doesn't lose a lot, and obviously Snute kind of did delay his work account by quite a bit here for a while, giving Clem a little bit of an advantage for a moment or two until he pulled some SCVs for a couple of moments. Extra drones coming on up once again. And you're going to be seeing the well, 1-1 upgrades. A little bit ahead for Clem as well. That's one thing Snute will have delayed here because of the fact he committed into so many units early on. Now his layer on the way up as well will help him get towards roach speed. These Lings protecting the creep spread as it comes through the south side of the map. More creep pushing through the north as well. Snute continuing to expand up in this direction. That's medevac going to jump on over to the right side here, so on to unload and get ready to go once again. Going to move up this side and just try and do a little bit more. Actually, at the same time, Marines find a queen up here, and they will get some of the creep spreads. So finding something, at least, as this drop now towards the main base. Roach is a little bit choked up, so they don't trade brilliantly. One Roach goes down for no kills. Clem just controlling the map with these drops, and now he jumps from the top side pathway to the center side. Maybe joins everything up here and pushes this 4th base. Oh, he just cleans up some creep on this south side as well. He gets a... I don't like that scan position. I think a scan, you know, why scan when there's going to be space over here that doesn't have creep tumors? You know that for a fact. Scan a bit more centrally. There's no reason not to. Not that I can think of right away, at least. That just feels like a small mistake there. So you're going to see these Marines now dropping on top of the Roaches. Clem is still finding himself some very good trades, and especially with 1-1 against 0-0, these Marines are finding some very good little scenarios here and there. Just some good, efficient stuff to keep them going. Snute really just maxing up on Roaches, now throwing into a Hive and a Spire, so looking to go super late game very early on. But going late game super early on in this scenario, I mean, it just might be very risky with how much Clem is finding in terms of damage already. Tanks and Sieges, we're going to see Clem is just now starting to set up a 3rd base, so it's been important for him to deal damage up until now because he's not really been in a position to just kind of macro up. His economy has not been amazing. Another scan up here should clean out another set of creep tumors perhaps. Does he have the scan? Only 2 bases. Okay, he does have one. It's just waiting for it to actually come on down. He's controlling these other medevacs to the south at the moment. There's the scan, and well, now 1-1 upgrades finished at least for these Roaches, but he's going to stim forwards. He's going to find himself a Ravager or 2. More Roaches are dropping as well. Queens do not transfuse. It's another good trade from Clem, picking away some more expensive units. I mean, a Ravager. I mean, 2 Ravagers, multiple Roaches. The Ravagers alone are 200 there for, what, 300 minerals of units from Clem. It's an expensive trade once more. Clem drops down here, just checking the gold base isn't taken. As his own 3 base is set up. Now he is a little bit behind on 2-2 compared to how far ahead he was on 1-1. Hive about to finish from Snute, and again, the idea of going straight into Broodlords will definitely be there. Great Aspire starts instantly. Still just Roaches and Queens gathering through this topside pathway as Clem begins his push. In what a dangerous position to push through from Snute's perspective, because Clem can just do this so slowly and surely, and there's no way to flank this army or anything like that. At the same time, it is difficult to push through this position to actually eventually reach the base. There's a couple of drones going down. Snute is being denied mining over on the 4th base as a couple of Roaches targeted down, low health ones. And actually, Clem is going to start making some progress. He is actually going to get through this position here. Tanks are starting to set up quite the siege tank line. A few of them taking a little while to actually properly siege. The rest of the Roaches gathering together now from Snute. We're going to see these tanks really starting to put in work. Snute's in a little bit of trouble so far. These Roaches are continuing to drop, and here we go. Now the concave from Snute is set up, but even pulling drones into this sort of tells you the position he feels he is in. Clem does not kind of kite backwards with those Marines for a while. Very confident about just being able to sit here and do a little bit more. Just zooming in to show you guys the fight underneath these medevacs as Snute has lost a lot. Corrupt has arrived though. These medevacs need to get out of here, and those tanks are going to be cleaned up. Reinforcements were a little bit slow to join the fray, and so Clem will not be able to back this up right away, but now he's hitting 2-2, as is Snute though. At the same time, he's down to the south side. 24 drones killed in this, because remember, he was killing workers that were pulled into the fight from up here, and he also kills the 4th hatchery. Clem! Wow, wow, wow. Great spy is finished, but Snute doesn't even have any money. He types out game, and Clem takes game number 1 of this best of 5. So let me know what you're thinking. Top left-hand side, down a game here on Odyssey. Our blue Zerg player from Team Liquid is Snute. I mean, Odyssey a great map for Zerg, so kind of getting the feeling that Battle on the Boardwalk might very well have been the map from the Red Terran to the bottom right-hand side here from Dead Pixels. Give it up if you're cheering on Clem. Yeah, I think Clem can play in WCS circuit events later in 2018. He's 15 at the moment. Obviously, he needs to be 16 to play in those events. That's crazy. It is crazy. Clem's stoppable, says Knoffi in the chat. Well, workers jumping into the refinery, as we are going to be seeing the hatch coming down on the natural here. But it was a pool first from Snute, so going to open it away, which allows him to be a little bit aggressive early on. I'm going to see this extractor coming up as well in the main base. An SCV coming through the center of the map heads up towards the top left-hand side to see just what is happening, just what is coming up next. A queen on the way out of this main base hatchery as well. And a couple of workers just going to jump into this extractor here to the side as well. So a couple of workers jumping on in there as this SCV of Clem hops up in towards the main base. And again, we'll be just looking to see what's going to be happening as we do see these couple of Zerglings of Snute going to be coming down in towards the natural. And well, the SCV sees it's a pull first. He knows the Lings are out, and so he can send this Reaper, in fact, right onto those Lings because he saw exactly where it was. And Clem, with the way he set this up, of course, he got into the main base to see the gas timing as well. So he knows it's not a super fast Ling speed either. And so obviously that gives him a little bit more of an idea of also what is going on in this. Ling speed starting up, and that is on the way here at the moment. Factory coming up in the main base. Again, the reactor building up on this barracks too, and still there's Reaper of Clem coming around the right-hand side. Reaper just looking to see what's happening out on the map. Again, Ling speed continuing along, a few more drones on the way. That factory about to finish, and then can indeed jump onto that reactor in the next few moments. An overlord down to the south, moving around too, and we do see that Reaper having to pull away. Picks off that drone there. That's really nicely done. Just picks off a drone nice and quick. Starport building up here from Clem as we see the tech lab building on the barracks. A couple more Hellions on the way out. Clem just establishing early into a fairly standard build order here. Nothing really too out of the ordinary. As you are going to see that Reaper grenade just blasting the queen around here and there. And Ling speed about to finish Snute with that. More presence kind of being gained on the map now. Very late third base because of this Reaper. And look at that grenade, even just delaying it a few extra seconds by popping that drone backwards. And that's really, really cute as we see two Hellions do arrive, and those Lings getting pushed away as well. Back away towards the upper left once more. He comes in, sees the third hatch, and started to put some damage onto it, but obviously will not look to actually get the cancel here. I mean, you know, I obviously you'd love to get the cancel, but it's very difficult to get it with only two Hellions and a Reaper. I love Snute going for a counterattack, but Clem's not being greedy. He is leaving Hellions at home. And again, Clem just going in towards a Stim Pack, a Liberator initially to apply some pressure behind the Viking, which is already picking off Overlords. So he's starting to hunt those down as, again, the Hellions come forwards, and they're going to grab themselves a couple of lings and just turn that away. No problem at all. No armory or anything's not looking to hellbat this up. Probably just going to add on barracks there, barracks here. There's that reactor on the factory, which will enable him to go in towards double reacted barracks after the stim pack. And just continue to build a combat shields up off the tech lab racks. Really just primarily focusing on Marines, of course, which are generally the stronger option early in the game. Marauder's not really needed until kind of higher Bane numbers become a thing. Hellions again moving forwards and still just seeing a little bit more of what's happening. Another grenade comes down and Queen's going to get blasted around once more. Hellions now over to the left hand side, and again this creep still just pushing on forwards. Going to come in to hit from here, and we're going to see maybe a chance to run by and do some damage, but Snute overall has a pretty good position defensively, and so he is able to turn this around. Third hatch coming up, about 75% of the way done. A couple of mules coming down on the natural expansion as well here. 2 refineries continue to set up on the natural, and the 1-1 upgrades on the way finally too. This time Snute going to play a very different style. It's always something he's done actually on Odyssey. He has not been playing his roach style on Odyssey. He hasn't been doing this for months. He's going to play the Ling Bane style and in towards what exactly. Well, Hydras are obviously the choice of the season, but Needles could still be something Snute cracks out here and there, but probably Ling Bane Hydra has been what he's been focusing on as of late on Odyssey, as we are going to be seeing the Viking still looking around for its third Overlord kill now, and he does find one up to this top side. Meanwhile, the Liberator didn't find much damage at all. Snute defending this well also. Not even getting into the main base to do damage, while so many Queens are focused on defending Hellions over towards the third. Yeah, and this Viking actually supply blocking Snute now. A little bit of a nuisance there. Snute will stack up some resources just as he gets out of that supply block, as now we see a third base going to move on over, drop down in location. What's up, ISB Bark? Thank you for the brand new fresh sub. There's some Wardy hearts in the chat, please, people. We are 3 subs away from 300. Thank you so much, ISB Bark, for the fresh sub. Welcome to the family. And if you would like a decoration on the tree, type in exclamation mark colors, pick a color. We'll get you up here after this game. Thank you very much for the sub. We're going to be finishing up here in a moment from Snute, as we're going to be seeing this extra hatchery again in the main base. 2 medevacs now coming to the left. Maintaining these Hellions now means you can morph them into Hellbat to get them healed up by the medevacs. And it means this push is very powerful. 1-1, combat shields all finishing up. What a push this is going to be. Clem just waiting for the Hellbats becoming available here, as there's the stim in to protect the Hellions from these Queens. And again, now the Hellions will be healable by those medevacs, although pulling back the Hellbats need to start getting in front to actually do the tanking they're designed to do in this scenario. So a lot of Ling Bane from Snute, but no Bane speed means that Snute can only run in very slowly with those Banes, and so far the Marines doing a good job sniping them down. Overall, there is enough from Snute to push this back, but Clem again with some great harassment throughout this game, and he's going to grab a couple creep teamers here perhaps. 1, 2, gets a third one over here. Nicely done. The more creep he slows down, the better a game this becomes for Clem. The easier it is for him to play while moving forwards throughout the kind of the following moments of the game. Viking coming back through the center once again here, as we are going to see Lings, Queens, Banes pushing forwards. Medevac's going to load those units up, come back through this side, and we are going to be seeing them dropping into position. We're going to see a Zergling on this left-hand watchtower as well. A few more Banes morphing in, as Snute still just primarily on Ling Bane. He is actually not going into any sort of tech on Lair. He's just going straight into Infestation Pit and Spire, looking as though he wants to tech straight up in towards the kind of the Hive and maybe Greater Spire once again here. Queens are going to get themselves a medevac. No, not quite. Banes do connect for a few Marines at least. Another medevac up top, as Clem is going to keep up the pressure while applying so much pressure of his own here. He's going to be dropping those Marines on down. Just doing what he can. This Liberator comes back into play. Is still only on 1 kill just now. Gets 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So a few drones at least denying the gas mining for just a little bit here. Snute, more Lings. That Hive now on the way. 2-2 from both players is fairly similarly timed. Snute's a little bit ahead on it. So one thing Clem's been a little bit slow on here and there is upgrades have not been starting immediately when he has the chance. Sometimes it takes him a few extra seconds. I mean, little things like that can affect you later in the game, but so far he's been playing well enough to make up for that. As again, Marines moving around here. Another creep teamer found. He's going to find active teamers over here. Maybe even this Queen as well. It's super low, but that's a shame. He could have been able to pick those up there. Drops to the high ground. Just a few more Ling kills. And might be able to get some more creep. Snute just replacing this so quickly, though. I mean, that's the difference of killing this queen and not killing it. All of a sudden, 3 more creep teamers are replacing the creep, rather than it actually receding a little bit. A couple more Marines jumping back in towards that medevac as now the bio from Clem once more coming through the center of the map here. Marines, medevacs, tanks, this entire army pushing forwards and looking to see what's going to happen. And Ultra's Cavern starting up, Corruptors are on the way through, some extra Zerglings coming out as well. The +2 Carapace from Snute also coming in over on the main base. And we are going to be seeing these Marines, these tanks, joining up together and getting ready to keep on pushing. 1, 2, and 3 tanks sieging up here. A couple of creep teamers going down. Just creep getting picked away at. More and more creep getting picked away at here. Clem starting to push forward as 2-2 finishes. Obviously, this is his time in pre-hive. Well, pre-hive tech. The Ultra's Cavern just about to finish. So it's a while till Ultras actually come onto the map here. Snute is set up to come in from the bottom left and the top left of this army. Clem's playing it slow, he's playing it patient, he's just cleaning that creep and waiting for that creep to recede before he really pushes too far forwards with all of his units. Just scanning here and there, and again, another couple of creep teamers going down, a drone or so as well. Medevac gets sniped down low on health towards the front. Some Corruptors will fly on in. I mean, the greatest Spire is not in play. It's just Corruptors to try and deal with the Medevacs. As here we go, then Snute from the 2 angles. Well, he ends up having to run up this ramp anyways. A lot of tanks here. Clem will begin to spread out, split up. The Banes are just running into a meat grind of Marines. But the tanks are down. The Corruptors are getting rid of the Medevacs. More tanks are going to siege, but the Marines, well, they're still running away. He does get a few of the Banes with this, which means he can turn and fight. The Lings will disappear, but he does lose every tank in the process. It means Clem can push forwards in towards the Corruptors now, though, at least. So he's able to come on in once again. What a kind of engaging from both sides. Clem, and a little bit of kind of crisis control there, pulling back, getting extra tanks sieged up. But I think at this point it's maybe a bit too much damage taken, as Snute with Ultras on the way out is obviously getting into a very comfortable position right now. A very comfortable position indeed, as we do have Ling's going to take this left-hand side watchtower. Can take that for a moment, and well, some extra Banes just on the way up once again. +3 Carapace on the way now from Snute again. The Ultras are continuing to come out. More and more Baners coming through here as well. Well, by over to the left right now, and as Snute comes in through the right-hand side instead, obviously that doesn't really bode too well here for our Terran player. He does not really have an answer to Ultras. There's only 2 tanks in production, a few tanks are on the map. Okay, the 5th base won't be denied, but Snute can go in so many different directions. Adrenal Gland Zerglings, in fact, they don't even have Adrenal Glands. I just assumed they did by the damage they were doing. Well, he's going to start taking the fight over to the left, and he just crushes through Clem's army. Absolutely fantastic plays, including Innovation, Zest, Stats, Rogue, and very many more. So you can get that if you subscribe today. Just send me a Twitch whisper to get it sent to you. To any new subscriber, we'll get that. And we'll have a new replay pack in the next few days, probably after the WardiTV Christmas Invitational is wrapped up, just so we actually have a few more replays to send over to you guys. Happy faces all around. Okay, you guys ready to do this? Let's go then. Game number 3 of this series is 1-1 tied up, and to the bottom right-hand side from Team Liquid, it's our blue Zerg player. Give it up for Snute. And to the upper left-hand side, our red Terran player from Dead Pixels is Clem. So yeah, new replay pack in it's just because this week we haven't casted very much StarCraft. So the new replay pack will be out in maybe, I think just next week, this time next week, because we just want to get the replays from the WardiTV Christmas Invitational, etc. There'll be a bunch extra games. There'll be like an extra 80 games or so that we're going to cast this week throughout the week. So yeah, probably around Christmas. It'll be a little Christmas present for you guys. We'll put it together, send it out on Christmas or the day after, in case you're looking for new replays. Again, just it's been a rough week. We haven't had a lot to cast, so it's been a little bit of a slower one here and there. Yes, continuing onwards, we are going to be seeing this Reaper on the way up from Clem. Obviously, the early game looking fairly normal. And on Abyssal Reef, we're probably expecting to see Snute going back in towards that Roach Ravager playstyle, in towards perhaps Infestors, or just straight up in towards the Hive Tech for Broodlords. Very similar to what we saw on Battle on the Boardwalk in game number 1. So looking towards more of that here in the near future. And I'm going to be seeing the game for now. Not looking too crazy, to be honest, either. Let's just get rolling. By the way, just a bit of an update as to what else is going on today. I'm going to be casting the Ladder Heroes European Monthly Finals in 3.5 hours. That's going to be with Fear Dragon over on his stream. So you guys can catch me there. Tomorrow I fly to Poland, and hopefully I'll be there to stream a little bit tomorrow evening. Hopefully if nothing goes wrong, etc. So that's what's going to be going on. As we just get set up, and well, a couple of lings moving around, coming across the map early, going to start being a nuisance. As that Reaper is just not in the best positions to save the day. We'll be able to save that SCV, but still delaying the CC a little bit is pretty awesome. Do Koreans still take the horizontal third? Most Koreans didn't do that. It was mostly just a rogue thing. Rogue really liked doing that. But, yeah, it's kind of a rogue thing. Very dependent on how you like to play the game and how you like to play the map. But it is going to be kind of interesting, I guess, to see how that continues to develop. But generally, I think Snute is just going to take the normal base. Making a whole bunch of links are going to get across and, well, really will try and put on some damage here. You know, only 28 drones on the map. So a lot of lings, and if there's going to be a medevac about to lift up this side, I mean, even just a cyclone on its own with a couple of marines isn't that much to actually defend from, you know, like 18 lings moving over, 16 lings moving over. Like, it's not that much at all. 4 marines and a cyclone? It's going to be kind of close. Let's see what happens as we are going to be seeing those lings getting ready to run on up here. The wall is not completed, and he sees the units. He's going to go for the surround. I mean, the Marines initially. The Cyclone does a lot of damage, but so do the Marines. Cyclone gets into a little bit of a gap. I love it. Some lings into the main base to distract him by time as other lings hit the natural, where they're guaranteed to get some worker kills, or at least force them away from the mineral line. And overall, for 16 lings, he gets 4 kills so far. And I mean, that's going to be another one up top. No! Saved by the medevac. Well, there you go. Nice little bit of micro there by Clem. Only 4 workers here, and he might get a depot as well. 4 workers, 4 marines. A depot was cancelled, but that was about it by Clem, and honestly not a bad defense considering Snute did slow down his own income to make this happen. You can see Clem took a little bit of a spike in the lead. Snute will spike back up in favor. Probably a little bit better here for Snute than Clem for a few moments, but as Clem gets back to mine, it will narrow it down once more. You can see his SCV is just returning. I would say a fairly decent attack from Snute, but Clem not really allowing too much damage to really be dealt. The nice thing for Snute is that he got out of there with some lings alive as well, which is obviously really awesome. 1 Cyclone and 1 Marine going to push forwards, and we are going to be seeing the Queens just going to kind of attack on towards that medevac, but you know, these units just going to start backing away nice and quick. No real reason for them to keep on pushing. There isn't really much they can gain. I mean, he gets a creep teamer here. If you get the other creep teamer, it'd be nice as well, but it's going to take a lot of... going to be a lot of damage on the Cyclone if he goes for it, and I think he doesn't really want to risk it too much. A Banshee now coming across the map as a follow-up, by the way, an Armory too. Turn this in towards a Hellbat attack as we continue onwards here. Snute with a set of lings around the map again, going to be going for that run by. The medevac does spot them. 7 Hellions out, a Banshee and a Cyclone. The medevac here to help out too. Snute only has lings. Rotoran is starting, but isn't here yet. Those lings are going to get turned around. He will actually find a Cyclone out on its own, but he doesn't jump on it in time to take advantage of the position. Spine building up, and I think the initial spine was on the natural. And now Snute doesn't actually have detection against this Banshee. His Spore Crawlers are not ready yet, and so this Banshee's going to pick up some damage, and now Hellbat's coming in at the front. And Snute suddenly kind of paying the price for being a little bit aggressive early on. Is not prepared to defend in other ways. 3 workers actually could have gone all the way into the main and done more, but he's still denying mining on the natural. They can still sort of sit here and kind of deal with some drones as they transfer between bases. I mean, that's going to be at least another couple. I feel as though this Banshee maybe could have found a little bit more. It still will find a couple more drone kills. Just the lack of a lair really hurting Snute and slowing him down here. 5 workers picked off. Banshee up on 10 kills in total. As you see the second Banshee runs in towards the Spore and the Queens. That ain't pretty. Might just have to go home and get repaired here. Still is Hellbat forced to the right-hand side. As we're going to be seeing the... well, units just got setting up once again. Spinecrawler over here is going to be set up as well, and we are going to be seeing more Hellions over to the right. It's going to be mech behind this. Extra factories, so Clem changing up his playstyle here in the 3rd game, moving away from bio and into mech. He's had a decent amount of success with the bio, and you know, he's throughout the day and also in this series included. 1 game won, 1 game lost. Changing it up now here on Abyssal to play the mech instead, so always makes it very scary when you can play a couple different styles comfortably in a tournament. Let's get pushed to move to the left-hand side. I think that's now coming up in towards the natural position. Banshees are still around in the main base, not being attacked at the moment. The Queen's over towards the third, still expecting the Hellbats to still be over there. Now the Hellbats starting to split themselves up a little bit, mostly moving towards the main, probably trying to get in a position where the Lings are not going to be able to help out too much. As not even sure where the Banshees went to. They actually are still in the main as well. They'll see, well, now they'll just cloak up. Queen's on high energy, so he shouldn't be losing any of these really Snute, but he's been a couple of moments where he just wasn't paying attention, and over time the Banshees are putting out damage and eating those transfuses up here. Now a few Hellions actually drop back in towards the third base. Look at this from Clem! What a drop! 25 workers going down in comparison all over the place. I mean, as everything just joins up together, damage is done. 28 workers with this attack. I mean, from the Banshees dealing damage through to a bit of damage dealt in the main into that drop of a few Hellions into the third. What a play! To morph a few of the Hellbats into Hellions, pick them up in the medevac and drop them here as he drags everything into the main base. What a cute way to take one heck of a lead here in Game 3 of this series. Things coming down the left-hand side as again more Hellions and a couple of 4s. Still gathering themselves up together. This medevac going to start being repaired by a few SCVs as well. Hydralisk Den, Infestation Pit, and the Banner Nest gotten down too. Snute continue to set up in toward this. And more Hellions through the center. Going to find themselves the opportunity to jump on top of this Queen. Are they actually going to get a Queen kill? It's going to be a transfusion very close. The transfuse does come down. These Hellions find themselves having to back away. All for just a little bit of energy. Well, 4's joining up here now. I mean, again, when you take a lead like what Clem had, going into a little bit of a follow-up attack like this one can be very, very powerful. Hellions should be looking to morph into Hellbats to be a bit tankier. The medevac comes in to heal them up, and at least a cancel in this 5th base is going to be the goal of Clem right now. The 2 4s putting so much damage in the back of this, it really is somewhat surprising. And there's the 5th base cancel. How much more does he want to get out of this right now? Well, we're going to be seeing these Liberator now coming up and setting up in the main base and in the natural. Only 2 workers killed though. In general, a good defense again from Snute. He's been very on top of things so far. I wonder if Clem's been here a little bit too long without actually reinforcing this army. I mean, I guess the whole idea is that you just want to trade away the Hellbats and use the 4s to kind of, well, the medevacs to lift up the 4s and get those out of there a little bit later on. 4s trying to get a roach kill or 2 on the sides, but has to be very careful at this stage of the game, especially does not want to run those 4s in towards, or the medevacs in towards Hydras. Obviously, that would be kind of a huge deal. Just going to be seeing these 4s lifting up and coming up towards the top. Hellions have actually jumped in towards this 3rd base again, and they're not going to find much damage. 6 workers, but at this point, getting rid of you know, Hellions for SCV, Hellions for drones, it's generally going to be a fairly beneficial trade. Wow, talk about leaving it to the last moment here for these 4s, as they are going to be able to pull back up to the top side. Snute kind of maxing out, but on a very low-tech army. Primarily roaches, 22 roaches, 6 hydras, now 6 swarm hosts on the map as well. And you're going to be seeing these roaches and hydras going to come on in, and they're going to be able to break through these rocks, but there is tanks ready. I don't think Snute can really break through this position. Well, maybe if the Hellions on Hellbats, but tanks are sieged, and the first set of roaches get obliterated here. Very nicely done. SCVs repair up the 4s, probably the medevacs after as well. Now, what if the medevacs get back on the map of the 4s if he just brings them back over in position? Swarm host with the roaches and hydras pushing up through the center in towards the natural expansion in the next couple of moments. And here we go. Again, the 4s are set up here to start defending at least. Here we go with the swarm host coming in. That will force the 4s to back away a little bit. And that's nice pickups on the 4s, but there is a lot of locusts coming through, and SCVs are starting to drop. Has to pull away a little bit. SCVs will repair. That will be enough for now. Clem defends this first wave. And it is this sort of next stage of the game. When swarm hosts are out, you have to play a bit more defensively as the meching player. Sit back and sort of just defend wave after wave and find yourself a little bit later on the opportunity to really push on in and to then deal the damage. Still a few tanks left over here. The swarm hosts are going to move forwards with this though. Blue Flame has finished to help out the Hellbats. Let's see if they can do enough as more tanks arriving. I think the Hellbats will be very easily able to defend this here. Nothing at all going down. It's going to be seeing the swarm hosts reposition again to the right hand side. Has to be careful, they're super slow off creep now. could definitely chase in with the fours or something and catch them. Hive on the way up in the main base. The Swarmers are about to pop their Locusts up. You know what? Well, even if the Locusts jump on top of this army, Hellbats are going to get rid of them very quick, and now the fours jumping on top of Swarm Hosts. That's a big deal. Swarm Hosts starting to get back towards creep. Hellions are going to chase and try and body block to stop the Swarm Hosts getting up there. Tanks will siege as he gets towards the creep spread to make sure he doesn't take damage. Lovely unsiege before he friendly fires onto his own Hellbats. And Snute is still maybe a little bit of trouble. Bane suddenly rolling in here, and they're going to look for some of the tanks which are clumped up. He gets some damage done. There's still a lot of tanks left over here. A few more Swarm Hosts coming on in. The Locusts getting ready to rumble. The Hydras are starting to really get cleaned out, and target firing is going a long way to helping out as well. One more tank goes down to the wave of Locusts. Clem will unsiege and back away. This was not a terrible fight for him, even if it looked a little bit messy. He still traded pretty well. He still dealt with a lot of the Hydras and Roaches on the ground. Now he's able to back away through this top side once more. Ultra's Captain dropping down in the main base. Hellions to the right-hand side are still doing some damage. Locusts drop on down on top of those Hellions and able to do a little bit there. Just going to be seeing these Swarm Hosts now actually blocking, body blocking the Hellions in. There's a lot of Lings coming over again, looking towards the Banelings as a way to break through this mech army to some extent. A couple Hydras get ahead of themselves. That ain't pretty. Locusts getting ready to maybe join this fight as well. Tanks are not sieged at the moment, as Lings are going to run on forwards. Where are the Locusts? They come in so late to this fight, way after we actually see the Lings running in. And that's a little bit of an interesting moment, and you can just see the Locusts get destroyed, and Clem again now has 30 seconds or so to push forwards without having to fear those Swarm Hosts. Hellions are going to get picked up, but not before 6 workers go down. Just again, a decent trade, a handful of Hellions for 6 drones. Slowing down Snute's economy even just slightly. And seeing this right now, Clem will know those Swarm Hosts are on cooldown, but he's not going to commit in just yet. Going to wait a bit longer. Going in towards the Fusion Core, turns to fight this, lifts up one of those damage tanks and gets away with a very low health medevac as well. Wow, what a way this is going. And we've seen +3, +2 finished up from Clem. 2-2 from Snute, +1 on the melee. As he goes in towards some Ultras now as a follow-up to this. Lingbane Hydra Ultra was one of the real kind of compositions we saw breaking through as a way to deal with mech throughout this year. Really kind of started to shine June, July when we saw IEM Shanghai and Rogue winning out some crazy mech games there, especially against players like Gumiho. Started to revolutionize the anti-mech matchup. We've seen a lot of different ways of dealing with mech since then, as that armory will now go down. The first time that Snute's really been able to do something with Swarm Hosts in towards the main base. In our third game of this series right now, as Clem though feels as though he's got the aggressive opportunity once more to just push on through. Banes are going to come in towards this, as we are not sieged up just yet, and finally starting to siege. The Hydras to the sides are doing so much damage, but now they're going to start getting blown the hell up. These Ultras are not lasting very long either. They don't have the extra armor just yet, but the transfusions are going a long way to helping out. But I think Clem cleans out everything. Only a few Queens are getting away from this fight. The Swarm Hosts are way in the back, but Swarm Hosts on their own, well, we've already seen how able Clem is to just clean up a wave of Locusts without losing anything. And there's no reason that would be any different right now. His army is just as good as it was before. Snute is absolutely drained in terms of a bank here. His 5 base is just on cutting it against the 5 base Terran, who's trading brilliantly so far. A 6,000 resource loss advantage in favor of Clem in this game. Hellbats, Vikings, tanks moving forward through the center of the map. A couple of scans coming down. Creep team is being cleaned out. And we do see this Liberator setting up on the right hand side. Is able to pick off a couple of drones. Another scan here. And we are going to be seeing the Locusts coming forwards, but it's actually Clem just backing away, wasting time on those Locusts. And obviously, if they never actually really get a chance to fight, maybe that creates the next opportunity for him to engage here. Backing away again. Banes are rolling in. This is a bit of a clumped up mech army. The Locusts will soak some of the damage up here initially. Snute takes a bit of a better fight than what we've seen before. A couple of tanks evacuating via medevac. Clem is still able to turn around, do a bit more. Liberator on this base is picking off drone after drone. It's a 14-kill Liberator as it finally gets picked away at here by these Queens. 10 kills, and so it's 15 kills in total. Really nicely done. A bit of harassment as the game goes by. Clem has so many units to actually bring in towards the fight. He's just not reinforcing his army yet, which can be scary, especially with the lack of Hellbats against what's about to be a wave of Locusts. Clem for a moment there looking as though he might have believed in the ability to pick off a unit or two. Now Hellions moving into Hellbats again. Smart servos makes that a little bit faster than it ever used to be. The Locust wave gets cleaned up pretty swift, not as fast as we've seen, but definitely still pretty quickly, and Clem is leading in this game 3. He's looking to take this to match point in his favor. Snute might be playing from behind going in towards game 4 if this keeps up, because right now Clem is maxed. And he's continuing to apply the pressure. Snute has just gone up this base over here, but Liberator is going to be denying the mineral line until Snute gets a chance to get over there and defend it. Some Vipers on the way up right now. A lot of Vikings, though, will be able to kind of help deal with those Vipers. The Vipers will help deal with the Liberators, abducting them out of position, etc. Vikings right now leading a charge in towards this. The Locust dropping down. The initial couple of lives are sieged up, not doing a lot. I guess they are picking away a lot on this mineral line, though. A lot of tanks in the back, clean up the wave of Locust very quickly. Tanks in the back actually under some fire as well. Clem still fighting here, though. The tanks are still firing away. The Vikings, do they want to land and help out with this? There's so many tanks in the back line. I think if the Vikings had landed, they would have been able to clean the rest of this up. Now every tank is going to go down, but he cleans up pretty much every Hydra. Liberator siege, new tanks arrive. This Ultra lasts about a split second longer, and now Hellions are jumping on top of the Swarm Hose. The Swarm Hose are off of creep, which means they're going down super quickly. Swarm Hose after Swarm Hose going down. Tanks still in the front, fighting against Lings. It's GG. Clem takes it. It's a 2-1 lead, and Clem goes up 2-1 in this best of 5. He's won a game with Bio, he's won a game with Mech. What does he do? It's on match point now. We're going to Catalyst for map 4 of this. GLHF being called to kickstart us. Let's do this. We're about to see if this man can force us into Game 5 in today's GO4SC2 finals. The blue Zerg player to the top left from Team Liquid. Here's Snute. And to the bottom right-hand side, the red Terran player from Dead Pixels. He's been playing up a storm lately. He's been playing insanely well. It is going to be Clem. Spawn pool first here from Snute, so again, maybe looking towards a couple of Lings to slow down the initial command center. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here today for GO4SC2. You guys have been having a fantastic Sunday with us so far. And again, I'm going to be here late, well, not here late tonight, but I will host up Fear Dragon's channel where I'm casting EU Ladder Heroes in about 3 hours' time. Tomorrow I fly to Warsaw once again to cast more IEM qualifiers throughout the week. I am going to be trying to stream from my laptop in my hotel room. It was fine last week, more or less, and this time I'll actually have my microphone there, because I'm actually planning on streaming. And so it should just be perfect to cast some more StarCraft 2 for you guys on the channel as the week goes by. It's pretty crazy stuff, as we're going to see a couple of Lings chasing after an SCV. I'm just moving back through the south side. And I'm going to see this Reaper of Cloud going to start moving forwards and up through the center. This SCV gets all the way away down to the south, and again, there's the Reaper of Clem coming up towards the top, trying to do a little bit more. React on the way out from Clem, the factory building up as well, and just setting in towards a build order which he's used multiple times in terms of super early game. The Reaper expand to double gas factory, etc. Now we're going to see these queens just going to be finishing up. Starport is starting now. Marines on the way this time, so looking to be maybe a Cyclone opening again. Marines and a Cyclone is something we went for in the last game. Not a Hellion, just going to keep the minerals there. Sometimes I've been looking to do this build myself now and then. I've been trying to build a Hellion, but maybe not the way to do things. Maybe best to just wait up for the Cyclone. Okay, so that's how Clem does it. Always good to know. It's really interesting. When I start playing the game a lot more, when I watch Terran plays when I'm casting, I actually start taking a little bit more attention to like the little things in their builds, like gas timers, etc. It's interesting. Definitely going to try and keep on playing a lot more frequently over the next couple months when I get the chance to. Back's going to lift off of this reactor, going to move over towards the building a tech lab. Medevac and Cyclone will be able to lift up and go towards this reactor as well. And there's a hatchery on the third base now from Snute 2, so setting up in towards this. And again, this early setup, just the Marine Cyclone drop. And he's going to go into Hellions behind as the barracks moves towards a tech lab, and we'll see if that's for Cloak Banshee, which it has been in the past, and obviously looks to be very similar setup once again. We're going to be. I think the big question is, what do we see as a follow-up here? Do we see extra gases and mech play? Do we see just a straight-up kind of bio play once more? We're just going to see the single Zerglin coming in. Just looking to do some bits and pieces. Couple Hellions coming around the side and just going to go for the Ling. I think Snute's going for pool first for safety, not being aggressive. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you can make a couple of Lings early. It's not really aggressive, it's just annoying to be kind of nibbling away at that CC, maybe delaying a bit. In this case, he wasn't able to do it because the Reaper was on point, and, I mean, obviously it's a safety thing as well, but it does allow you to be that little bit more aggressive than usual. In this case, he does have Lings running in. The way Snute does it, he doesn't go kind of gas pool hatch, as we do see these Lings actually doing a good job. So he doesn't have like a super fast Ling speed, so it's definitely not like super aggressive. It's more so just, I think, yeah, like, a combination of safety, but also like a couple of Lings can still do a little bit of something in terms of delaying a CC. Couple units over to the right hand side, a couple more Hellions. Up the right side as well, and we're going to be seeing a cloak field coming up, a Banshee on the way as well. I'm just going to be seeing this Banshee. I'm just going to be seeing the Queen's taking some damage, so I mean, Hellbats are morphed in here, so a little bit of aggression. The Banshee to the side trying to do a little bit of something. The Cyclone putting out a lot of hurt here. The Hellbats cleaned up, and this is going to be pushed away. And those Lings going to be, those units going to lift up, but this Banshee's still going huge. 5, 6 kills in total now, going up to 7. Snute taking a lot of damage during this. Armor on the way down now from Clem as well. It's just getting set up in towards mech play once again. A couple more factories on the way up here. I'd fund an entire ZvT tournament myself if you knew how to. If you want to fund a StarCraft tournament, but you're not sure how or what, or if you need help, you should always talk to like a content creator. Like, you can talk to like really anyone. Like, I mean, you could talk to anyone that streams a lot or makes content, like Base Trade, myself, anyone else who organizes tournaments. Even if you don't want them to like run it for you, they'd definitely be happy to help out and give you some advice. I know I would be. We all want to see more StarCraft content, so if you do want to fund things or you want to know how to start doing things, then just just ask, honestly. It really doesn't take too long to give you some advice or point you in the right direction, or some guys will help you out as well if you really want that. Like, whatever you want, like, people work with you. The StarCraft community is really awesome for that. I know Base Trade do it a lot with people who want to help fund a tournament. They'll help run it or so, provide an admin or so on. Or sometimes they'll just give you advice on how to do it. It's definitely something that's happened in the past. Anyways, going to be seeing some Hellbats over here. Going to try and get a kill or cancel on this fourth, and you just get the cancel. Going to cost him a few Hellbats though, perhaps. The Hellbats trying to run away and actually will make it away. At the same time, this Medevac is back. It's another 4 or 5 workers. Clem with consistent pressure all the way through. That Reaper going down right there. Melee upgrades continue to come on through. The Hydrogen is about to finish up in the main base. So Hydrogen finishes. Infestation Pit now drops down, and again more Hellions from Clem coming over to the right hand side. This Medevac loads up, and I guess he's maybe going to join these units together for another little bit of a push. The 4s are on their way across the map. The Medevacs are not giving them a lift apparently. So just going to have to wait a little while for this, but with the damage that Clem has done so far, I mean the 4 attack with the Hellbats, you could definitely do something in the next few moments. Medevacs arriving, Hellions able to morph into Hellbats, and we are going to see Cyclone already jumping on top of one of those hatches here. Bane's moving forward. Ooh, that's good Bane connections to start this off, and I think that might just be time for the Medevacs to go and get those 4s, get them out of there. That was a good engagement into the center of those Hellbats. Getting quite a lot of damage done very quickly there. Couple of libs on the way up in the main base, couple more factories finishing up too, as we're going to see big counterattack. Some Hellbats in position, but he's going to grab a tank as well. The 4s are still across the map, and Lings are going to start sneaking in towards the natural. And Clem is starting to look to be in a lot more trouble than he's been previously. Lings on the third base as well, and this is going to be a bit of a moment or two where Clem is losing a lot. 7 workers already, and that number is rising rapidly. 13 killed now as another tank moves forwards. A couple of Hellions will help, and finally this will be a defense on the natural, and he will turn it into a defense from the third base as well as his SCVs arrive over from that position. But a lot of lost mining time, a lot of workers lost, and in fact he's going to get up to 20 kills here. Snute, one simple counterattack after a very successful fight across the map, And he gets a lot done, as you're going to see some more Lings getting picked off, a couple of depots building down. And I'm going to see this Liberator just picking its way through the Overlord here. The 4 is going to pick that off in the end, and Snute is supply blocked, but man, a very minor thing considering how much he's just done, and I think he realizes as well he just killed a couple of different tanks there. Having killed a couple of siege tanks, these hives can definitely push forwards and maybe actually just end this game. I mean, with only a couple of tanks up, it's not a lot of firepower. I mean, Snute is also going into an Ultra Cavern though, so does he need to rush into end in this game? Of course, no, he doesn't. But if the opportunity is there, I mean, why let the mech player build on up once more? We'll see what Snute reads in, or how Snute reads into this. Love the Liberator harassment. Clem has been so good at keeping that going throughout this. And the very least here, Snute is going to get himself a little bit of this depot wall killed off. He's actually going to put himself behind this mineral line. Bit of a precarious spot, obviously you have to be very careful with it, as we are going to be seeing some Banes running in. Nicely done, a couple of Hellbats do go down very quickly there. 4 drones lost, a couple of SCVs going down, and more Hydras coming up the left-hand side. With Hive in play now, very quickly coming in off the back again, a very successful engagement against the Hellbat 4 push. Hive is done, so Vipers are coming up, the Ultra Cavern is finished, and Chitin is playing, they're starting. All of the tools that Snute needs here to close out this game are coming into play very quickly. And I just don't know if Clem's going to be able to get up what he needs to defend against this. You know, usually at this stage he'd be building up a Viking count to fight against the Vipers, but he just can't afford to do that without cutting too heavily in towards his tank production, etc., because of the losses he experienced earlier from that big Ling counterattack. 20 workers is a lot to lose out on, especially when you lost the fight before it. And that is where Snute is really just taking all of his advantages from right now. Can't make mistakes like that from against someone like Snute, because he does know how to abuse it, he does know how to take advantage of it, and he will push it to the extreme. You know, you give Snute a tiny little window to kind of squeeze into the game with, and he will like smash the walls down on either side of it and make it one hell of a way for him to just take advantage of in every single way possible. Hellbats here continuing to well, Helion's just going to actually kill off those Hydras, so that's something for Clem, at least a small fight going well for him. Snute maxing out in such a different scenario as the last time. Maxed out on a much better army composition, like a lot of Hydras, a lot of Lingbane. Before we saw Snute kind of on a lot of Roaches, etc. You know, and just kind of armies that just were not really ready to fight this many tanks. But he's also got these Vipers coming in too. I'm not sure where exactly they are in terms of the rest of the army. I think that might be them there from the left-hand side. Well, already fighting this here, a little bit eager, but as he comes in, the blind clouds will now drop and the tanks are disabled. 4s are being forced to walk forwards, even an abduct on a tank in the back. And this has become a very one-sided affair as Snute will stomp his way through this. I mean, that's the 4th base that he's on top of now, which obviously he can just keep on moving through. And Snute takes game number 4 to tie us up into one heck of a series here. And honestly, at this stage, I think anything really is becoming possible. To the top left-hand side, our blue Zerg player from Team Liquid is Snute. And his opponent down to the bottom right in red. Give it up if you're cheering on Dead Pixels Clem. Snute versus Clem, game 5 here now. As we get this rolling. Just looking to see how my 5th game will go, I suppose. I'm really intrigued to see how Clem plays. I'm really intrigued to see, does he play this sort of mech style again, or is it something a little bit different from him? Does he go back to that bio here on Neon Violet? What does Snute do? Already kind of a hatchery first. Obviously not feeling the need to be as aggressive here in other bits and pieces, or in other ways. Just getting set up, and the early game looking to be a hatch gas pool to kickstart things. Alright, so just a few moments of kind of calm before the storm, waiting for the Reaper to pop out, and waiting to really get this properly underway. Over the next few moments, just seeing the Reaper start to move across the map. So let's follow it over and see if we can get some damage. I mean, we've seen this Reaper pick up quite a few kills here and there throughout the games. There's been some impressive moments, actually. Like, he's really, I think done more sometimes, I think he's done more sometimes than I really expect him to, if this Reaper, like picking off all 4 Zerglings and so on. And he's been very good with points. This time, the Neon Valley Square is a bit of a large map, so Reaper doesn't get here, and a lot of times just start picking off those lings. The Queen is out in time to help join the fight and protect. And that will be that for now. I have to say, by the way, lately the GO4SC2 finals has been absolutely insane. Like, we've been getting into Game 5 of series, like, time after time after time. It really feels as though we've been getting into this so frequently. It's really crazy. It's really crazy. A few lings coming through the center. And we are just going to be seeing the, well, a couple of SCVs maybe under trouble. Hellions about to pop. Maybe you can grab an SCV as ling speed finishes, but that would be about it. That's going to be seeing him run in, and there we go. One ling. One SCV goes down. A second SCV goes down. The Hellions are out across the map, or trying to go across the map. Obviously, that's not going to end well, and I love it. He targets down the Marine, realizing he can get a bit more damage, and he even sneaks up the ramp just to see what's going on. Sees the barracks on the tech lab still, and the starport building without a tech lab. So it's very good information picked up here by Snute in the early stages of game number 5. A nice start. Another few lings going to sneak around, going for another couple of SCVs here. So they're going to be moving in the next couple of moments, but more Hellions are out, and this time it will be a better defense. First 2 Hellions, what are they going to do? Are they going to run by? Wow, there's too many Queens to realistically do that. Yeah, sorry guys, a bit of awkward silence at the start of this game. It's just trying to catch up and have a bit of a drink and get ready to roll. It's been like fun event today. We've been live for 4 hours. I always feel it's crazy. Sometimes we class GO4SC2s, like 4 hours passes like that, like it just disappears. Some of these games just, yeah, it's kind of crazy, I guess. How fast time goes when you're casting StarCraft. It really does. The time disappears. I have to admit it. At least it feels like it disappears for me. Hopefully it disappears quick for you as well, because you're enjoying the game so much. Triple Queen on the way out for Snute at the moment. A few extra drones are building up. A couple of extra barracks being thrown down. We are going to start seeing a Liberator starting to move across the map here from Clem as well. Some extra Hellions going to move in towards the center also. There's going to be 6 of them for now, and we do also see the Viking of Clem just hunting down Overlords. Only found 1 this game. There's one over here, the Liberator we'll see. There's another one up top, which Snute might be able to, might lose as well if the Viking gets in position in time. Snute does not play this style where he plays the pneumatized carapace, so without the pneumatized, those Overlords are obviously very fragile. Not fragile, but they're very, you know, if they get caught, they're probably going to go down. They can't just retreat into the main super easily, as this Liberator is deflected from the main. It will try and start picking its way through this Overlord, but I mean, a Liberator not going to do as much as a Viking would. Clem, a couple of mistakes here, some Hellions going down. He's playing Bio with the 3rd CC about to finish up. He's got his extra racks finished, and his production's on the way. As his factory is on a tech lab now to build up tanks, his starport is on a reactor to build up those medevacs. But where's the engineering base? Where's the 1-1 coming through? We have to imagine that that would be coming down somewhat soon. Otherwise, he will not be too great a position in terms of upgrades, which is very important with the Bio, because you do want to try and hit those 2-2 timings. It's going to be one of your big things throughout the kind of continuation of the game, of course. 2 evolution chambers over here to the top left side, as we do see some Zerglings going to run forwards, and Marines in position to push some Zerglings back away from that wall nice and quickly. Hellions coming over to the left side again here still. We are still just seeing the 1-1 upgrades from both players on the way up. An armory starts up in this mineral, or in this wall as well, just fills that gap. The CC leaves as Clem will expand down towards the low ground here, as his wall set up to kind of protect over the right side. I guess it makes sense. It's a very one-dimensional way into this base compared to up here. It's very hard to have your army up here if you're looking to push across to the left-hand side, as there's those 2 medevacs loading up. So no combat shields or 1-1 just yet, but he might wait it out for the armory, just because he wants these Hellions to move into Hellbats anyways. But his 1-1 in combat is definitely not as fast as it was on Odyssey when he went for a similar sort of setup. with a bit of a Hellbat Marine push. This game, Snute is playing Lingbane as well against the Bio, and he's going to be playing Lingbane Hydra. Again, on Odyssey, we saw Lingbane, but an attempt to go straight up in towards, well, Hive Tech. We never really saw the Hydras coming into play at all. Stem coming in, some nice creep tumors being killed off so far. Misses this one active one. That's very unfortunate. As we are going to see, Queen's able to push on in, and these Hellbats being pushed back over to the side. Hive is on the way up now from Snute as well. So Hive coming in from Snute. We're going to see a few creep tumors getting thrown down as well. Can continue to push this out to just replace what was lost. Clem coming up to the other side now. Just going to try and clean up creep in a different direction. So we have a lot of money in the bank, but I guess he will be committing in towards a bunch of Hydras. And in fact, as I start that sentence, he did start them up. Hellbat's in the front, going to do some tanking of Banelings. All the Banes going down. Is Snute just going to chase this in towards the little bit of a choke point here. Clem lifts, and obviously the potential to move in towards the main base there as two more Medivacs will come out. They're going to head over towards the left-hand side to try and do a little bit more here in the next few moments. So they're going to aim towards that as those Marines going to unload. Oh my god, the further Medivac gets picked off there. Clem punished for trying to drop with a low health Medivac, and definitely doesn't go his way. Marines dropping again and scan this other drop, but it was really nice when it's comboed with the drop at the top. Comboed to the left, you know, comboed with nothing, this Medivac should just be denied fairly easily. I guess if you're just looking for creep though, it's still just fine. And you'll push through this little bit of a maze. Marines running back and forth, left and right to get through those little squares. And we are going to be seeing Clem again. Not quite able to push on through just yet. Love it. One Marine just left on this gold base. He'll get a couple more creep tumors. Just the one goes back in, gets away. Does not want to fight those Hydras. Poor Marine loses his life to get the kill on that creep tumor, but still, it is an important one. Unfortunately, this Marine here watching for the gold base gets taken down also. Let's see if Snute does want to try and take this as he goes up in towards Ultra's Cavern. We're getting towards a later game scenario once again here. We've seen Clem able to win these late game scenarios today against Zerg. He won against Namshon. The first game of the day was 30 minutes long. It was an absolute epic of a TVZ. It really has been a great day to be a Clem fan. It's been some great games that he's been showing us. Marines stim to the side once again. Another creep tumor gets picked off. Those Marines, those Medivacs gathering up once more. Now they're just going to lift up and boost away through the center and towards the right. CC lifts and going to move in towards the gold base as well. Oof. Hydras are doing a little bit of damage. They picked off one Medivac there right away. We're all going to see more of this bio coming over now. Gold base starting to mine, and just going to see Clem just want to land that CC. There he goes. So he's going to take his 4th on the gold. Well, the late game setup begins. 2-2 timing will be his first kind of part of his agenda, I suppose. It really builds up the tank count here. 3 more tanks building. As he gets these extra tanks up, obviously he'll look to max out, hit 2-2 timing, and then probably into the Liberators, and then slowly but surely the Ghost somewhat soon afterwards as well. Loads up another 2 Medivacs to come over to the left as Snute, realizing he can't attack through that position, will send some units to the right hand side, may try and abuse this high ground, or just push in towards the natural. There's a couple of Medivacs have to be careful because there's Hydras coming in over here, and those Hydras will pick off these Medivacs if Clem is not careful. He saw the Lings, and oh, he turns in towards the Hydras. Clem, are you paying attention? Is Snute paying attention? He does turn, and he will kill one Medivac. Clem is not paying attention to the second Medivac. 2 full Medivacs go down as these Medivacs are not finding anything on this side of the map either. And Clem is trying to find openings, is trying to find an opportunity, but he hasn't found it so far just yet. A 3rd Medivac in about 30 seconds. Full of units, and at the same time Hydras on the high ground are picking off a couple of SCVs. This has not been a pretty couple of minutes if you're a Clem fan. All of a sudden Medivacs are dying left, right and center. Losing Medivacs at this stage of the game is painful because actually now only 4 Medivacs on the map, just as he wants to start building Liberators to fight against the Ultras a bit more easily. This really starts to go kind of the opposite way of what you would really want it to. So not too pretty just yet. As you're going to see a few Marines going to stim ahead and going to go for a few kills on these creep tumors. A few creep tumors going down, and we're just going to be seeing a nice little push forwards. Ling is down the right hand side, and the depot wall is actually down, so Snute can just filter straight on in here as Clem is moving onto the map. And Snute realizing it is just going to move on through. Okay, depots will raise on the ramp on the wall, but I mean, this natural mineral line, this mineral line, it's all going to be under fire, and Snute right now is running a masterclass on how to just never let the bio player do anything they want to. counterattacks here, there, and everywhere. Snute's all over the place. Hides some lings down bottom right. I mean, does he have a Bane nest? He does. So he can, of course, just throw in a few Banes. We haven't really seen many Banes at all from Snute. There's a few here and there. He can get some Banes here and maybe roll into this mineral line again in a few moments. Clem, so many tanks just focused on this left-hand side. I'm surprised we don't see any Vipers from Snute, you know, given just how many tanks there are at the moment. So this is a lot of tanks, a lot of siege tanks over here. Bio continue to come over as well, and a few Marines will just stim ahead of the rest of the army. You'll see the scan coming down again, and we're going to be seeing this Bio also moving forwards. Tanks are very late to siege up, but the Ultras will start to take some heavy hits once they are sieged up. I mean, that tank count is insane, and that's why I think Vipers have got to be on, you know, the list of things Snute wants to pick up in the next few moments. Without any Vipers, he's going to be in the best of positions. Only 2-2 from Clem, by the way. No 3-3, very late on these upgrades. It's one thing Clem has been a little bit behind on throughout games today. His upgrades have maybe not been at the most perfect of timings. While the Ultra Force is actually starting to disappear pretty quickly. Transfuse on this top Ultra, though, and this Ultra is really starting to break through right now as Snute is just about going to be able to break the tank line. This Ultra has survived so many hits. Finally, it goes down. And now with reinforcing Bio, he might just be able to fight this. Queen's obviously not going to put out a lot of damage. The Zerglings on their own are not going to do much either, but the tank line is killed off. 2 more tanks in the back. Now, the difference is Snute can make 88 Zerglings and still have minerals left over to spare. Clem made a really good fight out of this. Imagine he didn't have all of those issues with the counterattacks before. He just dealt with them a bit better. You can completely understand how exactly this was, how this is winnable for Clem if he just didn't take as much damage from the counterattacks. Obviously now, Snute will just break through. If there's wave of Zerglings, it's just going to overwhelm him. He isn't in a position to fight this many units. The Planetary Fortress is not going to be enough to protect against these Ultras, honestly. And a couple of tanks coming in, maybe they can make a difference. There's 2 more Ultras here, which can't do too much. You can see Ultras starting to hit a Planetary, which is now being repaired, but there's lings all over the place. And it was a valiant fight for Clem. He's played fantastically today. I really actually believed he could do it, but Snute just a little bit too good, and it looks as though he will be able to take the first place victory in today's GO4SC2. First GO4SC2 from Snute in a while as well. He's been focusing a lot on the qualifiers lately for WSG and other bits and pieces. GG, well played, says Clem as he types on out. Snute does it after one heck of a series against Clem here.